Okay, we get ready for our gold medal match between Steve Anderson and Reo Wilde here in the men's compound event. Behind us, the women's recurve archers are practicing, getting ready for their semifinals. We'll have that immediately following this gold medal match. And the first shot by Reo Wilde. Collects a 10 on his first shot.
What a way to open this match. And Steve, as he proved earlier, is not going to be the easiest competitor today. So I think that was a really nice start.
9 for Steve Anderson.
Steve Anderson with a 9 on his first arrow here in this first end.
So here you're seeing the number 3 world ranked archer, Reo Wilde, up against the number 34 ranked world archer, which, by the way, the number 34 world ranking is nothing to sneeze at for somebody new on the scene like Steve Anderson. He's definitely making an appearance and showing the archery world that he's serious about competing.
A couple of X's here in that second arrow of the first end.
Great shots from both of these gentlemen. And we see Logan Wilde in the coach's box for his brother Reo, and Henry Bass again behind Steve Anderson offering some support and coaching.
Fine shooting from Reo Wilde, 10x, 10.
Another 10 for Reo Wilde on his third shot, so perfect first round, and
9x, 10.
Anderson just able to get it inside that 10 rein. Well, he falls behind by a point, but it's been terrific shooting we've seen from the men here in the compound event. If I believe I'm not mistaken, I don't think anyone has gone outside of the 9 rein in the semifinals.
Yeah, that's correct. I don't think we've seen any 8s yet, although I hope we're not. I can't see us jinxing any of these world-class shooters, but they have really done well. Of course, now if the wind were to pick up, or we were to see, for example, some of the torrential rain that we had at the field very early this morning before the field opened, then potentially things could get a little bit wild in the targets. We start to see some movement in the arrows as, rain literally can affect sometimes the height of the arrows. And then you can also see, of course, as we've talked a lot about wind today and how that can have an effect on the way the sight, the archer's aiming device moves as they're holding the bow back. And that can not only practically move you off to one side of the target, but also mentally really, potentially mess with the mental game just a little bit, make you a little bit nervous and cause you to question your shot a little. This game is very much a pressure cooker at this level, particularly when you're in for the gold medal match. Many of these archers are not only looking at prize money for this U.S. Open and medals, but they also, some of them potentially also have prize money from, or what we say contingency money from their sponsors on the line. And that adds a dimension of pressure to this as well.
Steve Anderson behind by 1 will shoot first, start this second end.
Anderson with the first shot.
Anderson.
And just out to the left side of the 9.
A window of opportunity for Reo Wilde on his first shot. And he connects.
Center 10. Very, very nice. Right in the X. Beautiful shot. See how Steve answers that.
Another good shot.
An X of his own.
On the left side of that X ring.
As you start to really watch archery events and come to these events, you start to really know and feel when the pressure sort of settles on the field, and it's a very palpable thing on an archery field. You really start to feel the tension, and you see the archers really settle in and take it very, very seriously at this level.
And Anderson with another shot inside the X ring. So another 29-point round for Steve Anderson. Reo Wilde looking for another perfect round here in the second end.
Let's see if he can do it.
He does.
All day long. Very, very nice. And again, if we look at the conditions right now, the wind, at least for the moment, has calmed down pretty significantly. And so you have overcast, still conditions, at least for this end, which again are exactly the kinds of conditions you want to be shooting arrows in. There's no real glare from the sun. It's not beating down on you and making you real hot. You've got the little bit of a cool from, or at least a little bit of relief from the heat with the overcast skies. And at least for now, things are a little still, but we'll see if they pick back up again with the wind.
So identical scores here in the first and second ends. Reo Wilde with a 60 to 58 advantage over Steve Anderson. And we have to be thankful for the weather we've had here so far. It has been a tough week weather-wise, but of course archers can shoot through anything. As you mentioned earlier, the only time they do not shoot outside is due to lightning. But what makes the sport great is it can also be played indoors.
That's correct. That's one of the best things about archery. Archery is both a year-round sport and it's also a lifetime sport. And so you see folks who can literally pick this sport up at the age of 7 or 8 years old, enjoy it for their entire lives. For those of us who live in cooler climates, as I do, we can enjoy it summer and winter by heading indoors in the wintertime and shooting target archery at a distance of 18 meters or roughly 20 yards, which is great fun for those cold winter months. Lots of fun ways to get involved in archery, trying a league at your local archery club or things like that. And of course, folks can check out usarchery.org to find some of those opportunities.
Well, many of these same archers also participate in indoor events.
That is correct. We've seen both Steve and Reo doing some of the indoor World Cup events as well as high-profile events like the U.S. National Indoor Championships, which is USA Archery's event that is been growing tremendously in size, attracting thousands of archers each year. And another major indoor event that a lot of these archers participate in is the Vegas Shoot, which is held by the National Field Archery Association each February. And those are definitely two of the events that, at least in the United States, people are really watching to see those outcomes.
Both archers starting off with a 9 here in the third end of this gold medal match, and a 10 for Anderson as he's able to get his arrow just on the edge of that X circle.
Great shot. That X ring is really tough to hit at that distance. I mean, if we look at it, it's only, I think, just a couple inches for that X at 50 meters on this 80 centimeter target face. And again, Reo hits it as well. Very solid shooting.
That 9, by the way, by Reo. First he's hit this gold medal match. 7 of 8 shots, having good for 10 points. And Anderson finishes off the round with another 10, another 29-point end for Steve Anderson. Wilde to try and match that total. And he does. Another 10 for Reo Wilde. Reo Wilde has been inside the 10 range in 8 of his first 9 shots. And he maintains a 2-point lead over Steve Anderson, 89 to 86. Or excuse me, 89 to 87, I beg your pardon. Reo Wilde with the lead over Steve Anderson. We've seen some excellent shooting throughout the day so far from both the men and the women. Coming up after this, we'll have the female recurve semifinals, followed by their respective medal matches. Then we'll finish out the day with the men's recurve semifinals and medal matches. So great afternoon of archery still to come here in Decatur, Alabama at the U.S. Open.
Actually, the agents at the target base say that one of the 10s from Steve Anderson was an X as well. So 9x10 on the arrows here in the third end.
Steve Anderson getting credit for an X during that round. So still holding his own here, down by 2 points to Reo Wilde, currently ranked 3rd in the world in his event. Steve Anderson, as you said, 34th, so creeping up the rankings. Again, part of the wave of the future in U.S. archery. And a 2-point edge for Reo Wilde as we head into the 4th end, so shaping up for some exciting shots here in these final 2 ends with the gold medal on the line, Teresa.
Absolutely, and that gold medal puts just that little extra bit of pressure on these archers, and I shouldn't even say a little bit, it definitely puts some pressure, and how you manage that pressure really is a huge part of determining the outcome of this match.
So Steve Anderson will shoot first once again as he trails by 2 points. We begin the 4th end. Anderson draws the bow and releases with a 10.
Great shooting.
And that shot right along the edge for Reo Wilde. That should be a 10, I believe.
Looks like he caught it, and that definitely will be a help to him.
Unofficially, that's a 10 to keep pace with Steve Anderson.
Every point really counts right now.
And a nice X from Steve Anderson there.
You can see he's really got a lot of holes in the target right around that X. He's really hitting the target well today.
Time favoring the left side of the target. And that's a window of opportunity that Steve Anderson needed, a 9 for Wilde. As of now, the gap is closed down to 1 point. Well done by Steve Anderson. Perfect fourth end.
Relentless, absolutely relentless in this end. Steve Anderson has done a really nice job of opening that door for himself, and we'll see if he can continue to push his way through. Fantastic shooting from both of these archers today, and just in time for the wind to start picking back up a little bit for us.
And now let's hear from Steve Anderson as we get ready for the fifth end.
Hi, I'm Steve Anderson. I currently live in Bountiful, Utah. I am from Caldwell, Idaho. I don't do anything special to prepare for this event over any other. It's an important event for our national ranking and to make the USAT team, but I try not to approach it any differently. So I practice as much as I can after work and try not to shoot so much that I get burnt out. When I'm shooting in a difficult match, I try to just focus on me and what I'm doing and shoot the best score I can. It's a boat race. You can't play defense, so all you can do is bring as much offense to the table as you've got, and if that's good enough, great. If that wasn't enough, then you go back home and work on it. For new archers, I would say find a coach who has shown that they can either coach at the elite level or shoot at the elite level themselves. There's a lot of bad advice out there. There's a lot of good advice out there, and then learn to do it right and stick with it. To do it right takes a little longer to progress, but it'll be worth it in the end. Some fun facts about me: I was a two-sport Division I athlete in college. I played basketball and I was a decathlete on our track team. And then I also compete in competitive street yodeling now. All right, my motto, I've got it. Okay, my motto is to never take any of this too seriously. At the end of the day, you're not going to lose any friends if you shoot bad, and no one's going to think you're cool just because you won. So there's more to life than just archery.
You could see Anderson is just so solid today. Total determination in his face, and he hits another 10. Really, really nice. He is unstoppable today.
Here is Reo Wilde. That's an excellent shot from Reo Wilde.
Also equally unstoppable. These gentlemen just 1 point apart right now. Fantastic shooting.
Well, Anderson would love a 10 here.
One arrow apiece. Gold medal match with a 10
Gold medal
for
on the
Steve
line,
Anderson
and
on
Steve
this
Anderson
last
gets
one.
the 10. 10 for Wilde, and he will capture the gold medal. He gets it. Reo Wilde collects the gold medal.
Wow, fantastic shooting from Reo Wilde. Silver for Steve Anderson, but what great shooting from both of these archers. And you could see big hugs all around. These guys are friends. They respect one another on and off the competition field, and it shows in the way that they compete together and with one another. Fantastic shooting from both of these guys.
Reo Wilde just 2 points short of a perfect score, 148 of a possible 150. Outstanding job, but certainly no slouch himself. Steve Anderson collects of 146. Many people will be happy with that score, but not good enough to defeat Reo Wilde, who collects 148 points to capture the gold medal in the U.S. Open.
Fantastic.
Lots and lots of practice, which is not a ton because of all the travel. We've been at 3 different tournaments in the last 3 weeks, so just trying to get even where I can. My motto, I would say my motto is probably to work hard and just continue to put in the work, because if you don't, it's not going to get anywhere. When I'm shooting a difficult match, it goes through my head pretty much to stay with it and just shoot the best shots I can, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know if they're going to miss or you're going to have a bad arrow. You just stay with it and give it the best you can. My dad did get me started in archery. He was a world champion and had traveled a bunch, and I thought it would be fun to go to Vegas, so I started practicing and went to that tournament. So my advice to up-and-coming archers is put in the work and enjoy it. You never know where it'll take you. I've been around the world. I've seen a lot of places, done a lot of things, and archery's been good to me. So like I said, if you'll get out of it what you put into it. What would I like people to know about me? That I have a pretty amazing family. My wife is here putting up with us being in the rain. I'm very lucky to have such a great support system, and I think that's a huge part of my success.